So, Anthony, we've been hearing a lot about rates going up in the next couple of years. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, there's a lot of talk about that, and really for my entire career, I have dealt with that, rates increasing, and it can be very frustrating for people. It impacts your mortgage, it impacts your buying power, it impacts your ratios and stuff for lending, really frustrating. So I'll go back to the beginning of my career, which was 2003. After I was at North Carolina Farm Bureau for about a year, I started advising people your premium will be increasing, especially on the wind side of things. Back then, the wind rates didn't seem to be adequate, and there was some evidence starting to show up that for the foreseeable future, we were going to end up with rates increasing. I was correct. The rates did increase, and we've continued to see that. It gets frustrating and gets a little painful sometimes, but there's actually some really good reasons sometimes for the rates going up. And when you look at the nuts and bolts of insurance, it can be a little bit satisfying. I'll just give you a couple reasons why. So one, if we don't charge adequate rates, then we're not solvent. So we're not in business anymore. Now, rates are a negotiation between the North Carolina Department of Insurance and something called the Rate Bureau, which is representing a lot of other companies. And what companies are doing is they'll make a suggestion of the rates they need, determined by their actuaries, and then our elected official, the Department of Insurance and the Department of Insurance, they will say, hey, no, we're not giving you those rates, because they want to get reelected and they might not necessarily agree with the rates, et cetera. So there has to be a balance. And when there's not, and insurance companies aren't getting enough, it's exactly why we have wind excluded. It's written through what a lot of people call the state pool. That's written through something different. North Carolina Farm Bureau doesn't host that. And then you see like what has happened in Florida over the years. And that's a very complicated model, but a lot of companies have left Florida quite a bit, even in the last couple of years. And now we're seeing it in California. Now, I'm only licensed in North Carolina, but I read the news about different things in the insurance industry. And when insurance companies can't get the rates to let's just say make money, that's a simple way to explain it, then they're going to pull out.
Right. Yeah, I was starting to hear that some companies are already starting to pull out in North Carolina. Is that true?
Absolutely. And it's happened in different phases. So even back in the early 2000s, we went through that where I don't really want to name any companies today, but you'll see various companies, even that seemingly are operating here, but they're not writing them through that company. They're writing them somewhere else. So there's even been recent companies pulling out. Recent companies, especially when you're looking at homeowners and dwelling policies specifically, they are making things more strict. They're canceling existing business. So there's a lot of changes, and it really boils down to if they can get enough money, of course they want to write the policies, but in their opinion, they can't get enough money for the risk at hand.
Right. Okay. Is there any type of cap in place for the state, for example, that it can't exceed a certain percentage?
For coverage amount for dwellings? Yes, absolutely. And that has been a big problem for a lot of us agents, from independent to captive agents like me. The legislated limit through what most of us refer to as the Beach Plan. It has a lot of names, NCIUA, some people got NCJUA, but the Beach Plan, it's $750,000 for residential properties. And there are some situations where if you buy like a rental home, it can be written under commercial policy, and that can give you a little bit.
Wait a minute, back
coverage.
up. When you're saying $750,000, that is the amount that they will cover.
The maximum that they will offer on a policy. $750,000 is the maximum they'll offer, and then what most people do is secure excess coverage. So then you have another policy.
Okay.
So you end up really layering quite a few policies around here when you look at flood insurance, your wind insurance, your essential property coverage, and then your excess. It's a complicated market. You really need to make sure you're using good, just like using a good realtor like you need to use good insurance agents that can advise you through the process.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great information. Thank you so much.